Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will study our next points, which are irreflexive, antisymmetric, and equivalence relations. So, before going into detail of these properties of the relations, we will have to understand our previous properties like the reflexive and symmetric. Okay, because reflexive property is related, irreflexive property is related to the reflexive, and antisymmetric property is related to the symmetric property. Okay, now see these points or see these properties one by one. The first property in this lecture is the irreflexive. So why we call this relation as a irreflexive? A relation R on set A is called irreflexive if no A, means the element of that set A belongs to A, is related to A. That is, A or A means A is related to A does not hold. That is, in other words, we can say that elements are not related to itself. Relation R in a set A is irreflexive if for every A, that is element, belongs to A, and the ordered pair AA does not belongs to the relation R. For example, suppose there is a relation R is equal to the ordered pairs are AB and BA on the set X, which consists of the elements A and B, is irreflexive. Okay, this relation R is irreflexive on the set X because there are the no elements which are related to itself. That's why the R relation is called as a irreflexive. But any relation which is not reflexive is not necessarily irreflexive, and vice versa also. Means we can't say that if that relation is not reflexive, then it can be irreflexive. So it is not the case. Suppose there is a relation S is equal to 1 1 1 2 3 2 2 3 and 3 3. These are the ordered pairs included in the relation S on a set 1 2 and 3. This relation S is neither reflexive and nor irreflexive. How we can say that this is not reflexive and not irreflexive also? Because to make a relation as a reflexive, we have to include all the pairs which are related to itself. But in this relation, 1 1 and 3 3 are related to itself. But the 2 2 pair does not exist in this relation S. That's why this relation S is not reflexive. But what about the irreflexive? For the irreflexive, the elements are related to itself. That is 1 1 and 3 3. So that's why we can't say that this relation is a irreflexive. Okay. Next, our next property is the antisymmetric. For the symmetric property, the condition is that the if that relation includes AB pair, then it must include the pair BA also. Okay. Now, what about the antisymmetric? A relation R on a set A such that for all A and B, which are the elements of set A, belongs to A, if AB belongs to R and BA belongs to R, then A is equal to B is called the antisymmetric. Okay. Let R be a binary relation on A, and R is said to be an antisymmetric relation if AB pair in R relation R implies that BA is not in R unless A is equal to B. So in this case we can say that see this statement carefully, because our relation is called as a antisymmetric when A and B is included in the relation R, but B comma A is included in the relation R if and only if A is equal to B. Means when the pair B comma A is included in the relation R, the condition is satisfied that A is equal to B. In other words, if both A and B and A are in the relation R, then it must be case that the A is equal to B. Okay, so what is the condition for the antisymmetric? If both the pairs A and B and A are included in the relation R, then it must be the case that A is equal to B. And what about the symmetric property? For the symmetric property, if A and B included in the relation R, then B comma A, this pair must also included in the relation R. Now see here definition of the antisymmetric. A relation R in a set A is called as antisymmetric if for every A and B in set A, whenever A is related to B and B is related to A, then A is equal to B. Symbolically, how we can write this antisymmetric relation? Symbolically, R is antisymmetric in A if and only if if A B such that A belongs to A conjunction or and B belongs to A and A is related to B and B is related to A, then X is equal to Y. So this is the way we can write the antisymmetric property symbolically. Sometimes it is possible that a relation can be both symmetric and antisymmetric also. Next, see here one of the example of the antisymmetric property. Suppose let A be a set of the tests to be performed on a patient in the hospital, and let R be a binary relation on set A, such that if A comma B is in relation R, then then test A must be performed before test B. Okay, this is the case that if A test must be performed before the test B. Clearly, if test A must be performed before test B, then test B must not be performed before test A for the two distinct tests A and B. That's why R is an antisymmetric relation. Okay, so here A set is given like the as a set of test which is performed on a patient, and R is a binary relation which included the AB pair in the relation R, that A is a test and B is also test. So here A test is performed must be performed before test B. So here we can say that this test A must be performed before test B. So B cannot be performed before the test A. That's why the AB pair is satisfied. So this relation does not includes the BA pair. That's why R is an antisymmetric relation. Next. So see here again this same example for our previous properties, like for the reflexive, symmetric, transitive. Okay. So same question is here. The following relations are given R1 to R6, and the question is that which of these relations are the antisymmetric? See here the solution. R4, R5 and R6 are called as a antisymmetric relations. Why this called as antisymmetric relations? Because for each of these relations there is no pair of the elements A and B with A is not equal to B such that both AB and BA belong to the relation. So what does it mean? In the R4 there are see here the relation R4. Here 2-1 pair is present but not 1-2. Similarly 3-1 not 1-3, 3-2 not 2 3, 4 1 not 1 4, 4 2 2 4, and 4 3 and 3 4. So there are the no pairs like AB and B. That's why R4 is the antisymmetric. Likewise R5 1 2 not 2 1, 1 3 not 3 1, 1 4 not 4 1, 2 3 not 3 2, 2 4 not 4 2. Likewise, that's why R5 is also called as the antisymmetric. Okay, if it includes all the pairs like 1 2 and 2 1, 1 4 and 4 4 1, then these relations are not antisymmetric, but these relations are called as a symmetric. Understood the difference between symmetric and antisymmetric? For the symmetric, you must include all the pairs 1 2 and 2 1, 1 3 and 3 1. But for the antisymmetric, no, these two pairs are included. If included, then the condition is A is equal to B. Okay, next. Our next point is the equivalence relations. So up to this point, we have seen all the properties of the binary relations. Which are those? First one is the reflexive, symmetric, transitive, irreflexive, and antisymmetric. Now we will see here our next point, which is equivalence relations. Now what is the equivalence relation? A relation R on a set A is called an equivalence relation if it is, first one is reflexive, second is the symmetric, third one is the transitive. If all these conditions are satisfied, then we can say that the relation R on a set A is called as a equivalence relation. Okay, so equivalence relations are very important throughout our mathematics and computer science. So one reason for this is that in an equivalence relation, when two elements are related, then it makes sense to say that they are equivalent. Okay, that's why they are important. One reason is that we can say that two elements are equivalent. Okay, and for the equivalence relation, the conditions are reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Now see here what is the equivalent elements. The two elements A and B that are related by an equivalence relation are called as a equivalent. So there is a notation A equivalent to B. It is used to denote that A and B are the equivalent elements with respect to a particular equivalence relation. Now see here the notation is by mistakenly gone upward. This is not the case that the notation is in the middle of the A and the B. Okay, so please note that here that notation is in middle of that A and B. Now for the notion of the equivalent elements to make sense, every element should be equivalent to itself, as the reflexive property guarantees for an equivalence relation. Now it makes sense to say that A and B are related by an equivalence relation because when A is related to B by the symmetric property, then B is also related to A. Further, because an equivalence relation is transitive, if A and B are the equivalent and B and C are equivalent, then it follows that A and C are also equivalent. So this is the definition about equivalent elements, not the relation, equivalent elements. Now see here some of the example of the equivalence relations. What are these examples? The equality of numbers on a set of real numbers. Equality of the subsets of a universal set. Similarity of triangles on the set of the triangles. Relation of lines being parallel on a set of lines in a plane. Relation of living in the same town on the set of the persons living in India. and the relation of the statements being equivalent in the set of the statements. Next, now let's see here one of the example. Next example of the equivalence relation. Let A be a set of the students and R be a binary relation of A such that A, B is in the relation R if and only if A lives in the same hostel as B. Okay, so what is the condition? A be the set of the students here and R is a binary relation on A. So if A lives in the same hostel as B, then and then only AB is in relation R. Since everybody lives in the same hostel as himself or herself, that's why we can say that R is a reflexive relation. Likewise, if A lives in the same hostel as B, then B also lives in the same hostel as A. Thus, automatically R is a symmetric relation. Now, if A lives in the same hostel as B and B lives in the same hostel as C, then we can say that A lives in the same hostel as C. Thus, R is a transitive relation. So all the conditions are satisfied here. First one is the reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So consequently we can say that R is an equivalence relation. Now next example, see here. This is a very simple example. The relation R is given and that relation R includes the ordered pairs 1 1 2 2 3 3, 1 2 2 1, 2 3 3 2 1 3 and 3 1 on the set A, which included the elements 1 2 and 3. E is an equivalence relation. Means that relation R is given as a equivalence relation. Why this is called as equivalence relation? Because it is reflexive, it is symmetric and it is transitive also. So see here, check all these properties. Reflexive. Is there any pairs included 1 1 2 2 and 3 3? Yes. So all these pairs are included, that's why it is reflexive. For the symmetric, we have to check whether there are the pairs like 1 2 2 1 present, 2 3 3 2 they're also present, 1 3 and 3 1 these pairs are also present, that's why it is symmetric. Now for the transitive, 1 2 1 2 2 3, so 1 3 also 1 3 must be present, so there is a 1 3 pair also. Now 3 2 2 3, sorry. Likewise we can say that this relation is transitive also. So by satisfying all these conditions, the relation R is the equivalence relation. Now let's next example. Let A is equal to Z, the set of the integers, and let R relation R be defined by A is related to B, A or B, if and only if A is less than or equal to B. So question is here that is relation R an equivalence relation? So what is our question? What is given in the question itself? A is equal to Z, the set of the integers, and R is defined by A or B if and only if A is less than equal to B. Now see here the solution. Since A is less than equal to A, so the condition is satisfied, that's why R is a reflexive relation. Now if A is less than equal to B, then it need not follow that B is less than equal to A. So R is not symmetric here. See here, A is less than equal to A, satisfied. If A is less than equal to B, then how can we say that B is less than equal to A? That's why the symmetric property is not satisfied here. Now check for the transitive property. R is a transitive. Why? Because A is less than equal to B and B is less than equal to A, which implies that A is less than equal to C. So here R is not an equivalence relation because it does not satisfy the symmetric property, or it is not symmetry. So this relation R is not an equivalence relation. Next example. Let R be the relation on the set of the real numbers such that A is related to B, A or B, if and only if A minus B is an integer. Now we have to find out that is R an equivalence relation. So in the question itself it is given that A or B even only if A minus B is an integer. So because A minus A is equal to 0 is an integer for all the real numbers A. So A or A or A is related to A for all the real numbers A. That's why R is a reflexive relation. Now to satisfy as a symmetric property, we have to assume that first, or suppose that A is related to B, that is A or B. Okay. By assuming that A or B, we can get A minus B is an integer. How? Because in the question itself it is given. See here, what is the question? Let R be the relation on the set of the real numbers such that A or B if and only if A minus B is an integer. So here we are assuming that A is related to B, that is A or B. So we get A minus B is an integer. If A minus B is an integer, then B minus A is also an integer. Hence B or A, that is B is related to A, and it follows that R is a symmetric relation. Now if A is related to B and B is related to C, then A minus B and B minus C are the integers. Okay, because in the question itself it is given if A is related to B, then A minus B is an integer. Likewise for the B or C, that is B is related to C, so we can get the B minus C is also an integer. Therefore A minus C is equal to A minus B plus B minus C. It is also an integer, so A is related to C. Thus R is a transitive. So consequently we can say that R is an equivalence relation because all the symmetric, transitive and symmetric properties are satisfied here. That's why the relation R is an equivalence relation. Now we will stop here and we will start our next point in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.